Hello everybody, welcome to Mercyhurst Movie Minute in our big Marvel month. I'm Zach Moletz.
I'm Wandler.
I'm Alex Wargo.
And welcome back. All right, getting straight into it, we are going to pick right up where we left off with Iron Man 3.
Ladies, children, sheep. Some people call me a terrorist. I consider myself a teacher. Lesson number 1. Heroes. There is no such thing.
So basically the preface of this story is Iron Man is going a little crazy with making his suits. He has like a bajillion of them and is getting so invested in his work that he doesn't have any time for any friends or family. And then one thing leads to another. He gets like stranded, and then there's like this big like mystery in this little town about a terrorist attack, and it turns out like ex-military people are accidentally blowing up because of some experiment. And then there's people that can melt metal. It's crazy. At the end of the movie, Iron Man blows up all of his suits. Pepper gets saved. The metal gets removed out of his chest. Pretty interesting movie. That's just a brief history on it. What do you guys think of Iron Man 3?
Well, it's okay. It's
It's
not
okay?
the worst.
All right.
It has, again, one of my favorite scenes in the whole MCU.
Yeah.
It's the, the scene where he goes to confront the fake
Yeah,
Mandarin. And he's
yeah.
like, "My name is Trevor." It has that. I mean, it kind of had the extremis virus, which in the movie they say extremis, which is wrong.
Okay.
It's
okay.
extremis. Warren Ellis, when he wrote the story, originally said it was extremis. The movie's wrong. Yeah.
What do you think, Chance? What was your take on it?
I think the storyline's just completely botched.
It's all over the place.
but
all over the place.
it's a fun movie to watch. Like
yeah.
the action scenes are pretty fun.
Yeah.
Like the ending fight scene is pretty fun, and I like how they made Rhodey like a soldier outside of the suit.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, cause he does amazing things outside of the suit in the thing, and it's actually pretty interesting. And like, I love how Tony and Rhodey are paired together at the end before they get the suits.
Yeah.
And Tony has a gun and he shoots up and he hits the glass protecting the light. And he looks at Rhodey, he's like, "I shot the light." He's like, "Did you knock it out?" He's like, "No, who could hit a light?" Or he's like, "I hit the glass." And Rhodey's like, Did you hit the light?" He's like, "No, who could hit a light?" And Rhodey looks up, bang, shoots out the light. And he's like, "Well, that was just luck."
So
it's a fun movie to watch. I
Yeah.
just think the storyline's completely botched and
There's just too much going
There's
on.
too
yeah,
much going
they
on.
didn't
They
think
tried to-
through, I think.
I think they wanted to tease the Mandarin, like when they were doing it for like trailers and stuff.
Yeah.
They wanted to tease the Mandarin, so everybody's like, "Ooh, the Mandarin! Like this is Tony Stark's like greatest foe or whatever
Yeah.
like that." And then
They just didn't do it
Not a Mandarin.
properly.
It's
Yeah.
not the
I
Mandarin.
mean,
yeah.
to be fair, and this is probably an afterthought from them, is they did say that the real Mandarin is out there.
We
With,
just don't know
yeah.
who it is.
It was like there was a 5-minute short, I think.
it was a one shot.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
and it was just, what's his name? It was Trevor in jail, and he just gets a piece of paper or something from someone from the Ten Rings saying the Mandarin's still out there.
Yeah.
So there is a real Mandarin, I guess.
We
but-
just don't
But
know.
I don't
who
think
he
we're ever
is.
gonna see him,
Yeah.
considering
Where we're at now
we're
in the
at right
story.
now.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a time killer. It's not bad, but it's not
If
great.
you have to spare like 2
Yeah,
hours.
yeah. So I mean, you can watch it if you want. I don't really personally think you need to watch it for the end game.
No, it has no setup,
but yeah,
storyline
yeah,
whatsoever.
it's kind of just
It's more
filler.
just closing. It's kind of closing out Tony's like individual.
Yeah,
However, it does introduce the little kid.
yeah.
I forget what his name is. Is it Billy
I
McGuire
don't
or
know.
something like that?
Again,
I don't know.
I just remember.
I
the
think he
scene.
mixed Tobey Maguire and the most generic name you could possibly think of
Probably.
together.
It introduces a kid that may or may not become Iron Lad, which is like a younger Iron Man. Like it's the kid that in the comics he like steals one of Tony's suits, and he becomes like Tony Stark's little Iron
Like buddy.
kid.
Yeah.
But
sidekick.
He gets introduced. We're not sure that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that's like maybe the only instance that
Flake of it, yeah.
that might portray to
All I
that
remember,
for Endgame.
all I remember about the kid is again the scene where he gives him a bunch of like ADHD.
Oh
pills
yeah, so
To work on something.
pretty great, pretty great.
Yeah.
Nothing like child labor.
Hey,
Okay,
listen.
moving on to the next
Fueled by-
topic,
Fueled by
So
Xanax.
the Thor: The Dark World.
Thor, your bravery will not ease your pain. Your family, your world will be extinguished.
We're running out of time.
The very fabric of reality will be torn apart.
I'll find a way to save us all.
All yours.
Anyone else?
Why don't you
yeah,
kick this
so
one off, Alex?
I knew I was gonna have to talk about this, and I tried watching it, and it's a really boring movie. So I had my friend describe the plot for me. So apparently a few million years ago, Asgard was at war with the dark elves. I almost said dark realms. I don't know why. And Malekith wanted to use the ether to destroy the nine realms, but Malekith put in a failsafe for his race, which I was never described what that was to me at least. And I guess Asgard locked the ether away when Malekith escaped. So Jane Foster goes through like this magic gateway now in modern times. It gets bonded with the ether somehow, and that wakes up Malekith. And then Thor comes back because the Aether is a concern, and he finds Jane bonded with the Ether. Aether, I don't know how to pronounce it.
Ether.
Ether. Loki was in Asgard prison. That was a point that was pretty important made up. Thor and Jane go to Asgard and then learn about the Ether and the Convergence, which is when all nine realms interact. And using that, Malekith can use the Ether to destroy all 9 realms at the climax of the Convergence. And then somehow Malekith goes to attack Asgard now, and Thor's mom dies. And then Thor and Loki, because Thor breaks Loki out of jail, they go to Niflheim to confront Malekith. Malekith then gets the Ether. Loki kills Malekith's general curse while also killing himself. And then Thor goes back on Earth to track the Convergence. Thor then kills Malekith and then stays on Midgard. And then we find out Loki survived and became Odin. And then the end credit scene had Sif, and I found out the other guy's name was Volstagg, give the Collector the Reality Stone, which was the Ether the whole time.
Yeah, so not the most popular Marvel movie.
It was
Personally,
really boring.
I didn't watch it. I just completely skipped over, even though it has like one of the big stones. Not many people watched it, and honestly,
I watched it on TV.
Did you?
I watched it on TV.
Yeah,
'cause like when I saw Thor, I'm like, ooh. And
Yeah,
then I
yeah.
watched it, I'm like, ooh.
Yeah.
I haven't sat through this movie completely.
Yeah.
I got 45 minutes into it, and then I just picked up something else and just kind of had it on in the background.
Yeah. I've never once attempted to watch the movie, nor will I ever probably watch it.
I just
yeah.
want to make the point that I didn't like how they used Malekith in this.
Yeah.
He's a really cool villain because in the comics he's crazy, but also he's really good at planning. Like I'm right now in the comics again, he's either captured, he's either taken over or destroyed 9 of the 10 realms. He's staged a full-scale war against Earth, which resulted in Loki getting eaten by his dad. It's wild.
Yeah.
And I just really wish they used Malekith kind of like that in the movie because, you know,
Like did a better portrayal of him, yeah.
Because they had a good actor playing him, they just didn't write it. He's just
Didn't
boring.
do the character
the writing
justice.
for wasn't fantastic. Well, Thor's the only Marvel property that had a different director every single movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think that's what really caused it because
They
like,
had like
to
a
flop
completely,
so badly.
They
Yeah.
almost had a completely different staff too. Like they had different writers, directors for every movie.
well, they didn't have anybody that like really read up on the comics or anything like that. Disney,
They were kind of just winging it.
Disney
For
was
Thor
just like
1, it was the most comic
Yeah.
accurate again. But Thor 2 was what it was.
Yeah, yeah. So I feel like we all have a very basic general consensus on that one. So with everything said, I think we are able to move on. Unless you want to say more.
well, Thor. I just want to say, Thor: The Dark World was the first time that it was really introduced that Thor has a humor,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a good, like a funny, earthly sense of humor, not like, oh, I could kill you
Yeah.
easily. Like he like jokes around and stuff like that in this movie, and I think that's what really made Disney realize like, oh, we can actually kind of make him a little bit of like
comedy relief.
comedy relief because like he is so powerful and like imagine if you were that powerful, would you really like be all brutish and stuff like that and be like, I could hurt all of you like this. I could flick you and you go flying. Like I would have a great sense of humor.
Yeah.
If I was Thor, because I would be like, I'm so powerful. Why would I even like be mad?
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Now we can move on.
Now on to Captain America: Winter Soldier.
You need to keep both eyes open.
Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
Your work has been a gift to mankind. You've shaped the century. And I need you to do it one more time.
Gear up. It's time.
Probably one of my favorites. Chance, why don't you kick this one off?
This is my favorite Marvel property because it was the first. I'm not going to say it's the first time, but it was a darker version of Captain America that we have seen. Because like first Avenger wasn't really dark.
Yeah.
And Captain America: Winter Soldier or Civil War wasn't dark either, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
But I loved this movie because before, like if you didn't read the comics, everything in here was such a surprise to you. Like it starts off, Captain America is now like working for SHIELD as a soldier, as like a spy kind of. Not really a spy, but like head of the SWAT team that SHIELD has to like infiltrate and capture people, stuff like that. So it starts off, he's running around. Sam Wilson's taking a nice little jog in the morning, just running there, and all of a sudden Captain America goes by, on your left, and he's like, okay. And then like 5 minutes later, he goes past again, on your left. He's like, on my left, got it. And then it goes back to Falcon running, and you can see Captain America behind him, just like sprinting as fast as he can. And he's like, don't you say it, on your left. He's like, oh, on your left, my butt. And he's like trying to chase after him, and he goes like 10 feet, and he's like dying. And then it goes to Falcon and Captain America joking around with each other, kind of bonding over their time in the military and stuff like that. Sam Wilson gives them some things to like watch and stuff like that to get back into the 21st century, like pop culture. And then Captain America goes off to try to help capture SHIELD agents on a ship. and which is actually a really good, like, technically that's not the opening scene, but like it gives you the tone of like
of the film, yeah.
it gives you the tone of like what Captain America it was like a Batman kind of sequence.
Like takedown type deal, yeah.
Like it was good. And during this time, Captain America realizes that Black Widow has a different mission that Nick Fury gave her to receive to get data from the ship and stuff like that to give to him. And then Captain America goes back and talks to Nick Fury, saying like, you can't send people on these missions. Like, how could I trust you if you don't even tell me the full mission? Or you send in a team with me and the team has another mission. And then Nick Fury takes him down and shows him like what they've been working on, which is, what are the ships that they call?
I was wrong.
They're just like hover
they're just
ships.
shield helicarriers.
Yeah,
their helicarriers just like really vamped up.
And can fly.
Well, yeah,
stuff
they're
like that,
helicarriers
yeah.
that can fly.
Yeah.
That's it.
The helicarriers could fly.
Well,
That's
no,
what we're
well,
saying. So
well, like
typically when you say that, you picture them in the water.
Well, yeah, regular helicarriers are like
Don't fly.
ships. They're just there in the ocean.
So then Nick Fury's driving down the road, and all of a sudden, like, he gets ambushed by a whole bunch of assassins, Hydra agents actually, trying to kill him. Nick Fury is a boss, by the way. And then he's driving, he's about to get away, and then you see Winter Soldier blows up his car. Blows up Nick Fury's car. Nick Fury escapes, goes to Captain America, tells him, like, don't trust anybody. There's, like, Shield's compromised, blah, blah, blah. Nick Fury gets shot and dies. Captain America chases after Winter Soldier. Winter Soldier catches his shield, throws back at Cap. Cap flies back, and he's like, oh, my God, who's this guy? Nick Fury dies. Black Widow tells Captain America about the Winter Soldier and the myth and everything like that. And then they're on the run from S.H.I.E.L.D. because S.H.I.E.L.D. is now 90% Hydra. So they find Sam Wilson, Falcon, and they go, like, they ask him for his help, stuff like that. This is when Sam Wilson becomes the Falcon. They go Captain America and Black Widow go interrogate a dude from S.H.I.E.L.D. or from Hydra, asking him for questions, stuff like that. And he tells them what's going on. And then this is the first time they reference like Stephen Strange and a few other people in the Marvel Universe that aren't in the Marvel Universe just yet.
I think it was only Stephen Strange.
Yeah, they only mentioned Stephen Strange.
They talk about a few other people. If you read the comics, like they moved into the comics, but like no one knows who they are.
It was weird though because like that doesn't happen for like a very long time.
We don't
so,
know,
like,
to be fair.
when it
Doctor
happened.
Strange has really weird time.
Yeah, true.
We'll talk about that when we
Wait,
get there.
yeah.
Stephen Strange is Stephen Strange. It's happening during this time.
Okay, yeah.
But anyway, and then Captain America gives one of his famous speeches. Well, if you watch the movie, famous speeches. Gives one of his like famous upcoming like pump up speeches, and the remaining S.H.I.E.L.D. agents that aren't infested by Hydra try to fight back against them. A lot of them die. A lot of them die.
That's I feel like an understatement. Like almost everybody dies.
I think there's around 4 or 5 left. But anyway, so Captain America finds out that the Winter Soldier is actually Bucky, and throughout the movie, whenever Captain America sees Bucky, he tries to convince him, like, you know who I am, we were friends, blah, 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 stuff like that. By the way, the helicarriers are meant to kill any
potential threats,
Anyone
potential
that's on the
foreseeable
Hydra
threats
list.
to Hydra. So Captain America, Black Widow, and Sam Wilson, Falcon, all devise a plan to devise a plan that like they have to link the helicarriers to each other and make them destroy themselves. While Steve's trying to connect the last one, Winter Soldier stops him, and they're fighting. It's an amazing fight sequence. Probably some of the best fight sequences in the Marvel Universe in this movie. Anyway, Captain America could have beat Winter Soldier, but because it's Bucky, Captain America wanted one last opportunity for Bucky to realize who he was and stuff like that. Bucky ends up beating the crap out of Steve Rogers, and Steve Rogers Bucky goes, "Why won't you fight back?" And Captain America goes, not to you. I'm with you till the end of the line." and then they fall into the river. Winter Soldier drags him out. Winter Soldier drags Steve Rogers out, and then that's the last we see of Bucky until the end credit scene where he goes up and like he starts reading about himself in the Captain America museum. All right, that's good.
Yeah, good overview.
I don't
Good
know if you
overview.
mentioned,
I like
you might
that.
have, and I just tuned out for a second, but also S.H.I.E.L.D. gets disbanded.
Yes, yeah.
because-
Shield is not a thing after this
Yeah.
movie.
Later it is.
Personally, me and my friends were freaking out about this because back then, like, me and my friends were just the people that came and watched the movies. We didn't have any prior knowledge of what was going on. So, like, when the Winter Soldier caught Captain America's shield, our jaws, like, dropped because that was, like, the first time really in the MCU that somebody was, like, able to do that, which was crazy. And then when, like, the mask falls off and you find out it was Bucky, me and my friends were just freaking out because we had absolutely no clue like that was gonna happen. It was insane. What about you?
Well, the first time I saw Winter Soldier, this was before I got into comics, so I remember seeing it, and then the mask falls off, and I was really confused because I forgot about Bucky from the first movie. But
I didn't forget about Bucky.
oh, he died.
That would
He
be
died, but
confusing.
he's still like.
off a train. I'm like, he's
When that
dead.
part was in the trailer, I'm like,
Yeah.
But it's really interesting because it wasn't entirely inspired by comics. Like the whole Winter Soldier twist, of course, was by the famous storyline from 2004 or 2008, I want to say. 2008, 2004, somewhere around there. It was written by Ed Brubaker. It's good. But then, like, the S.H.I.E.L.D. being Hydra thing, that actually inspired a future storyline that was from...
which was terrible, by the way.
Secret Empire.
They fired that guy, actually, because he wrote...
Nick Spencer's still there. He's writing the best Spider-Man series of all time.
No, they fired him from Captain America. They're like, you can't just turn this...
No.
You can't just turn Captain America into a Hydra agent.
I liked that twist.
I did not.
I will stand.
No one liked it. Even Chris Evans was like, "What is this?"
Okay, ladies, you're both beautiful. Calm
I will
down.
stand by the idea. It was all editorial stuff was the reason that whole storyline was bad. Hydra isn't what everyone says it is, okay?
Okay, all right.
But that's the whole thing. I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was, and some of I think the best fight scenes in the MCU.
Oh, for sure, for
And
sure.
I
Because
think
it's hand-to-hand combat. It's not like lasers, fire,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
It's hand-to-hand
And
combat.
it's all
and
choreographed,
it's
yeah.
fantastic.
and I think it's a movie that almost like it goes beyond just like being like a superhero movie to an extent. Because there's a lot of things I think it says about like
People in general, yeah. All right, so with all that energy out of the way, we're gonna move on to our next movie, which is Guardians of the Galaxy.
Drax, aka the Destroyer. Since his wife and family were killed, he's been on a rampage across the galaxy in his search for vengeance. Gamora, soldier, assassin, wanted on over a dozen counts of murder. Rocket, wanted on over 50 charges of vehicular theft and escape from lockup.
What the hell?
Groot has been traveling recently as Rocket's personal houseplant / muscle. Peter Jason Quill. He's also known as Star-Lord.
Who calls him that?
Himself, mostly. He's wanted largely on charges of minor assault, public intoxication, and fraud.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know how this machine worked. Hey, that's mine. You son of a... Hey, take those headphones off right now!
They call themselves the Guardians of the Galaxy.
What a bunch of a-holes.
Chance, why don't you do
Guardians
this one
of the
too?
Galaxy, fantastic Marvel movie. I gotta tell you, like Marvel really turned around like
With this one, yeah, for sure.
During Phase 2, during these two movies, because it was crap until up to that.
Oh, for sure,
Up
yeah.
until Captain America: Winter Soldier. Russo brothers are fantastic, by the way. Guardians of the Galaxy was directed by James Gunn. A little controversial now, but separate.
he got hired back for.
I know, but
Yeah.
separate the person from the talent.
Yeah, yeah.
People still like Kevin Spacey, but he did some pretty bad stuff.
Yeah.
But anyway, James Gunn directed Guardians of the Galaxy, starring Chris Pratt as Star-Lord, which is some of the best casting ever.
Amazing.
Like,
yeah.
come on. You can't pick a better man-child than Chris Pratt.
Maybe not having Vin Diesel as Groot, but...
It was
He
his voice.
says
It was his
3
voice.
words the whole time.
And literally every single time he says, I am Groot, it is Vin Diesel saying it a separate time. They don't reuse it, which I think is so dumb, but
No,
it's
I
okay.
think that's stupid because you want a different, like they wanted different emotions for him
Yeah.
to say I am Groot. But using him as the kid though, they used him for one movie, and now he's like, but whatever. Anyway, so it starts out, Peter Quill, Chris Pratt, who is played by Chris Pratt. Peter Quill's mom dies of cancer. Peter Quill gets mad, he runs out into a field, gets abducted by aliens, who turns out to be Yondu, who's a blue alien with a fin on top of his head. That fin controls an arrow, which is a pretty cool weapon.
He has to whistle.
He like whistles and it's like all over the
pretty
place.
Cool. But anyway, they're pretty much like den of thieves, I would say.
Yeah, close enough,
and
yeah.
stuff like that, like thieves, professional criminals. So Peter Quill is raised by them. And then we move to a scene where Peter Quill's on this planet looking for stuff to loot, and he finds an orb. The orb actually contains a power stone, but no one knows that it contains a power stone. They just think it's
They just think it's a ball, yeah.
They just think it's a cool orb. So then Peter Quill...
like some people do. But
Some people do, but not Peter Quill.
Yeah.
But he gets ambushed by some of Ronan's men and stuff like that. Peter Quill manages to escape, get off the planet and stuff like that, and go to the buyer of the orb. The buyer wants nothing to do with it because he tells him that Ronan wants it. So the buyer's like, I'm not taking anything that Ronan wants. Ronan works for Thanos. Thanos will kill everybody. There's a cutscene before that where Ronan's men tell Ronan that they failed him, and Ronan's like, "All right, I'll go get it myself." And Nebula says, "No, I'll go get it. You can, I'm Thanos' daughter. I can do this." And Gamora's like, "You can't. I'll do it." And so Ronan sends Gamora to go take care of this. She ends up fighting Peter Quill for the orb. Meanwhile, while this is happening, Rocket Raccoon and Groot see this happening, and Peter Quill has a bounty on his head. So Rocket Raccoon and Groot are like, let's capture him and take the orb, and we'll get double the payday. So they get in a big fight in a metropolitan area, and they are arrested by the Nova Force?
Nova Corps.
Nova Corps,
yeah,
that's
there we
what it
go.
was. And they get sent to prison, where they meet Drax the Destroyer. They all think of a plan to get out of the prison. They break out. They fly to some place called Nowhere, where Gamora's buyer for the orb is, and it turns out to be the Collector. While there, Drax ends up getting really drunk, along with Rocket, and Drax ends up calling Ronan to come to the planet so that Drax could fight Ronan. So the Collector wants the orb and stuff like that. They show him that the Power Stone's inside it and what the Power Stone is, and it gives you kind of a background on all the Infinity Stones. Tells you it came from Celestial, stuff like that. It doesn't tell you where they are, but it tells you that there's 6.
Yeah.
It tells you that there's 6. It tells you that it came from Celestials, that they were used to destroy planets, stuff like that. And then I lost my train of thought. Ronan shows up, beats the crap out of Drax, takes Gamora. No, it doesn't take Gamora. Takes the stone and the orb, and Peter Quill saves Gamora because Gamora's out in space, and he saves Gamora, calls Yondu, tells him to pick him up so that he doesn't die. So Yondu comes, picks him up. Drax, Rocket, and Groot go to save them by threatening to blow up the ship that they are on. And it turns out that Yondu and all them want to help Peter Quill and all them get the stone back from Ronan. So they go to Xandar to fight Ronan and his men that want to destroy Xandar. And big fight sequence. Actually, it's written down that it's the deadliest scene in movie history. Like, it's not bloody or anything like that, but just so many people die. So that's actually pretty amazing. But anyway, Star-Lord ends up having a dance-off with Ronan as a distraction. And then Peter Quill they destroy Ronan's big hammer that was holding the stone. And Peter Quill grabs the stone and is able to hold on to it for a long time, which no one else has been able to do.
He should have died.
He should have died. And this is when everybody realizes that Peter Quill has something like powerful inside him, stuff like that. And they all grab hands to share the power equally and stuff like that. And then they destroy Ronan. We figure out that Peter Quill is half celestial or part celestial, something like that.
They just say that there's some weird thing with his
going
DNA.
on.
There's some weird thing inside him. We find out later it's a celestial. And yeah, so that's pretty much the gist. Guys, go ahead and talk.
So you want to go first? Go first.
I mean, okay. This movie should not have happened, first off.
Yeah. What?
Like, no, I'm glad it did, but I don't know if you've ever read, like, a Guardians of the Galaxy comic before this movie. They are so dull.
Really?
They are so boring. They're super serious.
Yeah.
Like, because that team only existed for, like, a year before the movie.
Yeah.
But the last Guardians of the Galaxy comic was from the 80s, and it was Guardians 3000, which was, like, Yondu, Major Victory, and some other guys I can't remember, which were in Guardians 2. But.
Well, do you know they might be doing a one-shot of the old
I would be very happy with that, except it should be in the future, but that's a whole other thing. But the way I like to think that this movie came about was that Kevin Feige, the guy who like basically runs the MCU, he was in somewhere, he was at a bar, he was drunk, and someone dared him to make a movie with the least popular superhero team of all time, and he said, deal. And that's how we got this movie.
That's awesome. Actually.
Really enjoyed this movie.
That's how it should happen.
My favorite scene from the movie is when they're in the prison break and Rocket Raccoon's like, I need that guy's eye.
No, I need that guy's arm.
Oh yeah, I need that guy's arm. And then there's
is it
this
arm or is it leg? No, it's
leg.
I need that guy's leg. Why do you need that guy's leg? It's details. Just get the leg.
There's a scene where
he brings in the leg and he's like, wait, he actually gave you his leg? That's hilarious. And Star-Lord's like, I had to pay him 3,000 units. And he's like, just give me the leg. We don't need it, but fantastic.
Rocket's got a weird fascination with prosthetics for some reason.
I think it's more just like a joke.
He just finds it funny. But I thought that was hilarious.
Because he could probably sell it for
any time now that he has like a plan and there's somebody with some cybernetic thing.
He says that he needs it,
And I need that guy's eye. And the guy's looking around with his eye like,
yeah, because that was later in this one. I wasn't sure which
that was later in the second.
Really good movie. I really enjoyed it for sure. All right, moving on to our next one. We're going to keep the train moving here to Age of Ultron.
Tangled in strings.
It's the end. The end of the path I started us on.
Nothing lasts forever.
Now I'm free.
Now, when I first saw this movie, and when a lot of people first saw this movie, they honestly, it didn't get good reviews. But as of a recent rewatch, I honestly enjoyed this movie. I thought it was pretty good. So basically, the preface is the Avengers have been around the block a few times, cracking skulls of secret Hydra agents, tearing their bases down, and Tony has created like this safety force to keep people away from the battle. And he wants to improve it with this Hydra idea. It's basically like a better Jarvis.
It's an AI.
Yeah, so he creates it, and then Ultron's like, oh, what's my purpose? And like freaks out basically, and then kills Jarvis. And then is like, I know my purpose, and it's to destroy the Avengers.
His thing was he needed to protect humanity and
By destroying it, yeah. And so he's got like different robot bodies, and he can be like everywhere at once. And he gets the help from these two twins. My best description of them is from the movie. Literally, the lines from the movie were, "He's fast and she's weird." It's Quicksilver and Wanda Maximoff, his sister. What's
Scarlet
her?
Witch.
Scarlet Witch, yes. And she can, like manipulate stuff, and he can run very quickly.
She's a witch.
Yes,
Her
yeah.
powers
She's
are
a witch.
They, like,
She
in
can
the
move stuff.
In the comics, they
Zap
never
their
really-
heads. Make their
never-
minds go nuts,
Yeah,
and he can run.
yeah.
They never really explain what she can do in the comics.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah.
whatever the writer wants her to be able to do.
And so they cause mischief while Ultron like plays out his plan. A Wakanda villain loses his arm. Hulk goes crazy. And a city gets dropped on the Earth, but the Avengers break it up into little tiny bits and save the world, and it's great. And it's a happy ending. And War Machine, Vision is born, and Wanda become a part of the Avengers.
Oh, and also Hulk takes off in a Quinjet.
Yes, and Hulk disappears
which is
to
important for a
yes,
later
yes,
movie.
very important, to an unknown location. I thoroughly enjoyed the movie. I thought it had some pretty good fight scenes. The Hulk scene, probably one of the best.
CGI.
Yes,
the Hulk,
in
like the Hulk
yes,
Hulkbuster fight.
yeah. What did they call it, Vicky? I think they called it like Vicky.
Friday.
No.
I can't
Friday.
remember.
Friday is the new Jarvis. The
Who
Tracy or something like that. They had a name for
Veronica.
the suit. Veronica. Was it Veronica? I can't remember. I think it started with a V.
Something like that.
But
I think it was Veronica.
it's so good, so good.
I think it's Veronica.
Favorite part is when he drops him through a building and he tells Friday to buy the building.
How fast can we buy this
yes.
building?
I thought that was amazing.
Fine. Okay, good. Smash.
Oh, it's great. What do you guys think?
It's worse than the first Avengers movie.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not as good, but it has a better
For
final fight.
Yeah.
This is one of the few things, because like a lot of the origins in the MCU are taken or very heavily inspired by like the Ultimate Universe.
Yeah.
I'm very happy that they shied away a little bit from the Scarlet Witch Quicksilver stuff.
Yeah.
Because they did like some of it with like mutants being like created by humans. But in the Ultimate Universe, they are brother and sister, but they have a different relationship than most brothers and sisters.
Yeah,
which I am very happy they did
Yeah,
not do in this
I kind of
movie.
picked up those vibes the first time I watched the movie. I was like, they're a little too close. Is it worse in the comics?
Not in like the main
Yeah.
universe, but in the Ultimate Universe, where again a lot of the origins
Yeah.
are from. It's a lot worse.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
It's
What do
they're
you?
very close.
What did you think, Chance?
I actually kind of, I mean, it's not the best.
Yeah.
It's not the best Marvel movie, but I kind of liked it. Like
Yeah.
it's the fight sequences are fun to watch. There's joking, like it's Marvel, so of course there's joking around stuff like that. But there's team bonding, in
Yeah.
it, and it's kind of fun. And this is where you like kind of see like the Science Bros, which is Bruce Banner and Tony Stark, kind of geek out with each other.
Yeah, there's
And,
like a
like,
whole montage of it.
You see how like their
Relationships, how
the
everybody's
relationships
intertwined.
and stuff like
yeah.
that, and it's fun movie, and I like how they introduce more characters. I don't like how powerful they made Vision in this movie, and then dulled him down the movies coming up.
Yeah,
because
that
he
was a
has
little annoying.
He has an Infinity Stone in
his head, yeah.
One of the more powerful Infinity Stones, and
I think just for introducing him, they had to show like how strong he was.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't want to get into the whole Infinity War thing just yet.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there.
Also,
they were actually going to introduce Captain Marvel in this movie, but they said they couldn't. Like they said to just hold off on it and introduce her in a
separate thing.
In a separate movie first, like they did with the rest of them, because they're not DC.
There's also, this movie is the closest we've ever gotten to someone saying Avengers Assemble on screen.
Oh yeah, right at the end.
Right,
yeah.
It says Avengers and then it cuts to
off.
black.
Yeah.
And I've never been like more like
upset.
I guess, than I have in the theater when I was watching this. Because when I was watching this, it was with my one cousin, and that was it.
Yeah.
So it was just us in the theater, and that happened. I just shouted right then and there. So irritated by that.
It's definitely like an come on
Because
kind of moment.
Joss Whedon knew what he was doing.
Yeah,
Of course. Well, no, I'm not gonna say Joss Whedon knows what he's doing.
Yeah, I don't think Foley did, but.
Well, he ruined Justice League. He pretty much ruined Age of Ultron. He just got lucky that it didn't get messed up so much.
Joss Whedon, he has like one set of characters he writes.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
But no,
yeah, all right.
I'm not gonna say Joss Whedon did a good job because he did good with Avengers. He should have ended it there because he's just messing up everything.
Yeah,
No, I was saying with like the cutting right before he says assemble. He knew what he was doing there.
Oh yeah,
for
he
sure.
knew what he was doing. But you know for a fact that was probably like Kevin Feige or someone telling him to do something.
Yeah. All right, going on to our final movie of the episode, Ant-Man.
Scott, I've been watching you for a while. You're different. And I believe everyone deserves a shot at redemption. Do you?
Absolutely. My days of breaking into places and stealing stuff are over. What do you want me to do?
I want you to break into a place and steal some stuff.
Makes sense.
Are you ready to become a hero?
Now, the suit has power. You have to learn how to control it. And these are your greatest allies.
You're kind of cute. Whoa.
When you're small, you have superhuman strength. You're like a bullet. So you need to know how to punch.
You want to show me how to punch? Show me how to punch.
That's how you punch.
You tried to hide your suit from me. Now, it's gonna blow up in your face and destroy everyone you care about.
Scott, get out of there!
Did you think you could stop the future? You're just a thief!
No. I'm Ant-Man. I know. Wasn't my idea.
Ants! Ants! Ant-Man!
Now,
why don't you kick this off for us?
This is one of my personal favorite MCU movies. So it starts I think in the 70s I want to say.
Yeah.
And it's
Hank Pym.
Hank Pym, yeah. Basically, he's coming in, talking to Tony Stark's dad.
Howard Stark.
I'm blanking on names right now. I'm sorry. I'm really excited.
Howard Stark, Peggy Carter, and
it's not
the other dude from
more names than I can remember.
Yeah, another Shield person. Basically, he finds out that they're trying to get the Pym particle, which he doesn't want them to have because he thinks it's too much power for them to have. Because the Pym particle lets you shrink down, but you have the same amount of strength and speed and stuff. So basically, it basically gives you characteristics of an ant, almost.
Yeah.
Which is why they're called Ant-Man. Why he's called Ant-Man. So then, cut forward to Scott Lang. He's in jail, and he's getting out of jail because he's
a cat burglar.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember exactly what he got.
Details.
He got money out of this corporation that scammed people, and he gave it back to the people. But then he got arrested for it because it was illegal. So he gets out of jail, and his old cellmate Luis, he picks him up in this van, and they go and drive off into this apartment where Luis is putting a team together for a heist. But Scott Lang wants nothing to do with it because he's out of the game.
He has a daughter.
And he has a daughter, so while trying to make amends with his ex-wife and her now husband and his daughter, who he doesn't really have to make amends with, his daughter loves him, he goes and gets a job, but he gets fired from that because he was an ex-con.
Baskin Robbins always trying to.
They will. So in order to basically get money, I guess, so then he'll be able to somewhat have visitation rights. So he breaks in to Hank Pym's house, following their plan, steals a suit, which was the Ant-Man suit, and then gets back, and he puts on the suit when he gets back to the apartment, and he shrinks down, and it's a really fun scene of him just running around with Hank Pym in his ear, trying to tell him what's going on. And then, I can't remember exactly what happens next, but I remember...
He goes to put the suit back in Hank Pym's house.
And then the police come, and he gets arrested because his ex-wife's husband...
Is a cop.
And then while he's in jail, Hank Pym comes, but he has ants come in.
Ants save him,
And they spell out something, put the suit on, and escape. So Scott escapes. He's riding on an ant, and Hank Pym's in his ear again, telling him what to do. And then Scott Lang passes out from, I think, being too high up.
Yeah.
So he wakes up. Hank Pym's there. He says, I'm going to train you how to be Ant-Man, because we got to break into my old company because the current CEO is going to use the Pym particle and sell it to different countries for military purposes, which Hank Pym doesn't want. So there's a whole training montage where I can't remember, Hank Pym's daughter and Scott Lang get closer. They start bonding.
Is that Hope Van Dyne?
I think it's Hope Van Dyne.
Yeah.
Because his wife, just Hank Pym's wife was Janet, I knew.
Yeah.
But so yeah, they break in, but they need more people, so they bring Luis and his team in. Which Luis is the best part of the movie, by the way,
he's amazing.
in case you were wondering.
Yeah.
So they break in. The plan's going well at first. Turns out the CEO of Pym Industries knew this was going to happen. He trapped them in, and he becomes Yellow Jacket, which is basically the Yellow Jacket suit. Is like the Ant-Man suit, but deadlier.
Yeah.
And who's selling it to Hydra, it turns out. I'm telling this really bad because I'm not great at telling stories.
It's fine.
Sorry. So Scott Lang and I can't remember the CEO's name, but Yellow Jacket start fighting. There's a point where Yellow Jacket flies into a bug zapper, and we think he's dead. Turns out he's not, and he goes and kidnaps Scott Lang's daughter. So they start fighting inside of Scott Lang's ex-wife's house. And there's a point where they're fighting on a train set, and this is a Thomas
the train, yeah.
It expands because he has these things that he can throw, and expands and shrinks things. And so the only way he finds out to defeat Yellow Jacket was he has to shrink in between the molecules to go into Yellow Jacket's back
suit, and just bust
to disable the suit. So he does that. He's going into the not quantum realm yet, but he's kind of shrinking infinitely until he figures out he has one more of the things he can throw that grows things. He puts that inside of the belt of the suit, which controls the Pym particles, and he grows back to normal size. And then that's kind of the end of it. There's a point where Luis is like, yeah, I know this guy who knows this guy who knows this guy who knows this guy who works for the Avengers, and it says they're looking for somebody.
And that's the connection.
Yeah.
And it's literally the connection. That's probably my favorite part of the movie is when Louise is narrating and everybody in the scene is actually saying exactly what Louise says. It's great. Such a good movie. What do you think, Chance?
Luis is a great storyteller. I think they should just make Avengers Endgame just Luis.
That'd be amazing. Oh my gosh.
And then Thanos sitting on a couch talking to Luis about this is what happened.
What I wanted is whenever Endgame comes out, it just recaps every single MCU movie. But
Louise, that'd be amazing, yeah. All right, so that is the end of Phase 2.
Are we not saying anything else on Ant-Man?
I mean, I don't got much else to say.
I really don't have anything
I'm really
else.
glad,
It's a fun movie to
they're
watch.
not doing Hank Pym like they have him in the comics.
Hank Pym in the comics they regretted what they did.
Yeah, he's a bit of a bad guy.
Is he?
They were trying to
make Ultron, first off.
Oh, okay.
He's a big proponent of domestic abuse.
Nice.
Yeah,
okay.
he's not
awesome.
a great person in the
Okay.
comics.
Yeah. Definitely better in the film. Yeah.
The movie is fun to watch. Like,
Yeah.
Ant-Man gets a lot of crap, but I
Yeah.
think
It's a
good
good
movie.
Edgar
Yeah.
Wright was originally writing the script.
Was he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who was?
Edgar Wright.
Wright. All right. Well, that is the end of Phase 2. We will see you guys next week for Phase 3. I'm Zach Moletz.
I'm Chance Wandler.
I'm Alex Wargo.
And this has been Marvel Movie Minute.
I need to go grab my hoodie.